Okay, before we start, I would like to say thanks to the honorable lecturers for the time given to us to do this debate final test. The topic for our debate today is this house believes that online learning is rubbish. Okay, since the COVID-19 outbreak, all of education and learning process in the school and college is done through online system. This is what we call as online learning, which is stated as the most appropriate way to do during this pandemic. However, doing a virtual learning is still having lots of disadvantages. The teachers and the lecturers as the educators and the students can't do a face-to-face meeting. Therefore, the teachers and the lecturers can't estimate the strength and the weakness of their students. Also, as the students, they can't get their maximum potential of understanding and knowing the materials because what they need is direct meeting, direct explanation from their lecturers. That's why we as the affirmative team believe that online learning is rubbish. As the first speaker, I will bring 2 points of argument as my main focus. I will talk on online learning impacts to the students. The first is about laziness, and the second is that the students become harder to learn the materials. Having online classes are seriously affecting students' mental and behavioral pattern. Their focus and concentration are elsewhere. Students are getting too comfortable doing things at home. It changed their behavior from when they stayed at campus. This will be my first point regarding the laziness. Students become slothful and listless the more days they cooked at home. Even when the teachers were explaining, they could be doing anything, unlike meeting directly in class where they can be observed and disciplined. Having a meeting through online system gives them more freedom and excuses. In the long term, students' life will be filled with boredom. They will have a serious problem of harder learning. Most of all, is because the lack of direct explanation and supervision, which is more efficient for learning. So, why is lack of direct explanation affects students' mentality? Let's imagine an online class with 30 students. In every meeting, there will be at least one person who showed their face just once. Then open a new tab, maybe go watching some YouTube videos or doing something which is not related to the lesson. This proves that there are many more distraction and temptation at home than at the school or campus. Finally, when they keep getting distracted, they will remember almost nothing or maybe just a few of the materials given. This brings us to my second point, which is students become harder to learn the materials. The curriculum is made according to a relevant steps that keeps getting harder each time one rise in grade. The materials given each day will keeps getting harder and heavier to understand, and a mistake or misunderstanding in the previous materials may bring someone to be harder to learn the next materials. And of course, this will be hard to do without the direct learning system. This is why we believe that online learning is rubbish, because not only we don't get what we have paid for, but also the lack of supervision will create a bad habit such as laziness. And all of these problems lead the students to become harder to learn the materials. Thank you.
It is an undeniable fact that we can learn from anywhere and anytime. Teachers are also giving their students their time to make questions, giving explanation, correcting answers, and answering their inquiries. I can say it is fair to say that we earn what we pay. We, as a speaker of opposing team, do believe, in some of the previous statement, of course, until a certain point it is, we agree that there are many temptation and distraction at home. But why is it bad? Cannot we use a side blocker to help assist the temptation? Cannot we increase our self-awareness knowing the possible disadvantage? In fact, we can. We just do not want to try and blame it all on the system. Moreover, there are still many advantages learning online. I, as the first speaker of the opposing team, believe that online learning is not rubbish. In fact, we can actually organize things better and better. I will bring to point as my, my point of arguments. As my previous statement, we can actually manage time and things better at home. Why is that? It will be explained it will be explained on my first point, which is better time management. We do not actually need to travel to class, which should take approximately 5 to 10 minutes more. If they live far from campus, by studying at home, we can manage things better since those minutes can be used for reviewing, reevaluating, and doing things that could, well, be beneficial. With better time management, we can actually clear and submit work earlier than going to campus. While in campus, after getting an explanation, we were also given a group assignment that will surely divide our time more. Because not only we have to attend the mandatory class, we have to plan when to do the assignment together. With the studying at home policies, we can manage things and assign things faster. My second argument is the working flexibility. Of course, from the national policy, we know that the minimum duration to submit the assignment is 2 days. This means that we can learn materials whenever we are ready. And prepared. We are also not bound by when we should do the assignment, unless it is a group assignment. Having a freedom to work whenever we surely help managing time. Whereas per my first statement, we can wear anything we felt the most comfortable in any position we are most relaxed in. By having a flexibility will help increasing one's focus, reducing the tension. We can also listen to music or radio at the same time. If it helps concentrating, studies proof that certain kind of music will help the brain to think effectively, while at the same time calming the listener. By having a comfortable and calming environment, we believe that online learning is just as beneficial as direct meeting, and it is not in any way rubbish. That's all from me. Maybe, yeah. Thank you very much.
As the second speaker, I will once again state our view of how rubbish online learning is. In Indonesia, not every part of the region are covered in internet range, not mentioning the bandwidth fluctuation that causes many connection problems. This particular issue has not been resolved ever since the pandemic, even though complaints were flooding the providers. This causes some big problems such as instability and unevenness. There will be a lot of students who will be affected, and rather than comfortable work life, it will cause even more stress. Let's give this statement an example. Not long before, we had an online examination which required a stable internet connection, and some students had an internet problem. and could not access the server, resulting in their inability to answer questions. Moreover, since there are time limits, students who have a bad connection will be at disadvantage in the marking system. Why? Because if the server could not load, the students will not be able to see the questions and could not answer as much. Unlike a face-to-face meeting, where everything is fair and equal, having an online examination will let irresponsible students cheat as much as possible. Not only the examination system, will even the understanding of materials will even differ. Lack of social interaction, for example, having a group discussion is surely beneficial for us. We can help each other regarding the previous materials. We can explain our understanding to others, increasing our understanding. Previously, the opposing team stated that it will waste our time, but in fact, it could be more beneficial to us to have a social interaction and discussion. Why is that? First of all, remember that we, as a human, is a social creature. We will need the company of others to fulfill our weakness, and it could be only achieved properly when we have a direct meeting with others. How come? Surely, there is a thing called an online meeting where people could have a meeting and discussion virtually. Technically, it could be considered a social interaction, but no more than talking through phone. We cannot see and understand people properly unless we have a proper direct meeting. Staying too long in a virtual online world will slowly make people addicted, reducing their ability to converse properly. People we know close previously will seem distant and stranger. In addition to the reduced communication skill, the lack of direct practice of the material will hinder students from being more expressive and independent. Why? Because by having a prolonged virtual meeting, students will be dependent on the internet too much to solve quizzes and exams, reducing their ability to think independently and forcing them to rely on other people. This is why I, the representative of the pro team, believe that online learning is rubbish.
First of all, I would like for everyone here to understand, to ask this yourself. What makes online learning bad? What is the guidelines that separate something good and bad? If I had to answer it honestly, it matters not. It has no significant differences whether we learn something from online or by direct meeting. Of course, in every course of events, there will be some pros and cons. But in this matter, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that online learning is not in any way rubbish. I will bring 3 points of statement that hopefully can convince you all in this matter. The first will be study materials and assignment. The second will be reduction in spending. And the third is habit. Let me directly explain my first argument related to the study materials and assignment. Ladies and gentlemen, online learning is in fact very helpful in our studies. When we have a direct meeting, we have to listen to our lecturers or teachers' explanation, while at the same time taking notes of those important points. This, in fact, will strain our mind if it goes on for too long. But with online learning, we can directly make notes of those important points from the materials. Often lecturers or teachers will give a materials in the form of PDF, Words, or PowerPoint, so that we can make notes of it faster than the teacher's explanation. Moreover, if the teacher's words are hard to understand. By making notes of the online materials, we have read and write those important points that could be easier to remember. Moreover, if there are points that we do not understand, we can ask our teachers or lecturers at any time. For the assignments, we can submit the online assignment faster than direct meeting, in fact. At the same time, the teacher gives the materials, there are assignments to do, and we can immediately work on this assignment right after reading the materials from online. We can in fact do this in a day, in a single day, unlike by direct meeting, where we have to divide our time commuting, moving to another class, hours, etc. Whereas we have to spend additional time and stamina while in home. We can do it in one seat of the chair or bed or anywhere we felt comfortable with. See, at this point there are no significant differences whether we learn something online or by direct meeting. Now I will move on to bring my second argument regarding reduction in spending. There must be food expenses, commuting, papers or books, and copy materials that cost a lot. We have to print and spend some money for learning purpose. For those who have spare money, it may be fine, but it won't be a fun joke. It won't be a joke for everyone, for people who have a tight wallet. By doing things online, we could cut all those copies and assignments for free, not spending any money at all. In case of paying data, we are currently being supplied by our school, by our universities, albeit minimum. Without commuting and no additional spending, we can surely save money a lot, and it could be spent on something like hobbies or things that could improve our soft skill that might be useful for the future. And finally, my third point is related to the habit. The opposing team previously stated that there are many distractions that could make people lazy at home. At this point, I support this argument. But what if we look at it another way? Those distractions are meant to change our perpetual habit. If we can resist temptation and our bad habits, we can certainly improve as a human being. We can change. Of course, nothing is easy. Related to my previous statement, we can increase our soft skill in the meantime and make it a better habit. So, learning from home is actually beneficial from our perspective, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I urge you, ladies and gentlemen, not to see only the bad from the online learning, but also the good and beneficial standpoint. Hopefully, everyone can support our arguments and believe that online learning is not in any way rubbish. Thank you.